Hey everybody, KC here. So a few days back, we reported that the National Dictionary of Australia had proclaimed that the 2024 word of the year was enshittification, which it defined as, and I quote, the gradual deterioration of a service or product brought about by a reduction in the quality of service provided, especially of an online platform, and as a consequence of profit seeking. I love that. And I think it's absolutely true. And it doesn't just apply to digital platforms. Yesterday, the Merriam-Webster dictionary, which isn't the National Dictionary of the United States, but probably ought to be, it announced that what its 2024 word of the year, polarization. Now, polarization is defined as, quote, division into two sharply distinct opposites, especially a state in which the opinions, beliefs, and interests of a group or society no longer range along a continuum, but become concentrated at opposing extremes. Now listen, nobody living in the United States or living through our current state of affairs or even paying a little bit of attention, nobody's going to be surprised by that being the word of the year. We tend to think of polarization in political terms, but I actually think it's a lot larger than that. Now, we don't know the details yet, but the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson may be an example of this. Regardless of the motives, the appalling reaction to the murder online, as some people celebrated the event because of their negative feelings about the U.S. healthcare system in general and United Healthcare in particular, show us a different kind of polarization. And quite frankly, you can go into that cesspool called social media any given day about any given subject, and polarization, toxic polarization, reigns supreme. Now, I think this is something that business leaders really have to think about. Political leaders, not so much. For a lot of them, polarization plays into their game plan. That serves their needs, but not so much business leaders. I hate to break it to you, but you can't afford to polarize your customers. You can't afford to polarize half your customers. It's critical for a business leader, especially in retailing, but not limited to retailing, for you to be connected to your customers' needs, their wants, and their desires, and even connected to their frustrations. And by being connected, you can tell your own story and listen to their stories, but do so in a way that is both relevant and resonant. You can reduce polarization in your own neighborhood, store by store, one at a time. And that's critically important in my view. You know, in many ways, enshittification and polarization, they're both two sides of the same deterioration coin. Business leaders need to make reversing this trend an absolute priority, because to not address it is to allow for a trend that has no positive resolution. There will be no upside. Anyway, that's what's on my mind. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.